Thank you for joining us today for the Payroll Solutions Community live Q&A. The topic that we are covering is paying your children tax-free. What entity types can pay their children tax-free, and what the requirements of the children to be paid tax-free, and options available to business owners if they don't fall under one of the entity types that can quickly and easily pay their children tax-free. So the entity types that can pay their children tax-free are sole proprietors, so people operating under an assumed name without a legal entity structure, or just using their first and last name and operating your business that way. A single member LLC, where the single member owner is a parent to the child that is being paid. And sometimes a multi-member LLC if all of the members of the LLC are the parents to the child being paid. So a requirement, you can't just say, oh, I'm going to pay my kids X amount of dollars and it's going to be all tax-free. There are certain requirements that have to be met. Number one, the children have to be under the age of 18. So I always recommend that when you are paying your children and you want to make sure that it's tax-free, I like a cushion. So if you have a child that's 17 and going to be turning 18 soon, my recommendation is to run the last tax-free payroll a week before they turn 18. You just have to do it a day before, but I like that cushion. And if you're using a payroll software or payroll company, you don't want to take any chances on not getting that payroll run and then owing the tax on it. And the children actually have to be working for your business and doing age-appropriate activities. You can't, most of the time, it would be unrealistic to pay a 2-year-old the $12,200 limit tax-free, and expect that that would be age appropriate, because there's not a whole lot a 2-year-old can do in a business that would be age appropriate that would earn them that much income. With that said, there are always a few exceptions to the rule, and because I have had companies that were modeling agencies or voice talent where they were able to get away with paying smaller children that the maximum tax-free that they could. But that's pretty rare. Usually I will recommend that you keep track of the number of hours that you're paying your kids and pay them minimum wage, and not just give them a salary, because there's going to be ebbs and flows with them being, or earning money or having the ability to work in your business. Summers, they're going to be a lot more available to work than when they're in school. Of course, this year has been just crazy, where they're not in school, they're in school, but they're just everywhere. And you actually have to pay them the money. It sounds so silly, but you can't just say, oh, well, this $500 I took out of my business we'll just call that payroll for John. But the money has to be transferred from the business account to an account with the child's name on it. So it's usually a savings account if they're under the age of 16, because most of the time they can't get a checking account until they're 16. But that again varies by state and by bank. So just a quick recap. If you're a sole proprietor or a single member LLC employing your own child, or a multi-member LLC where all the owners are the parents to the children being paid, the children have to be under the age of 18. The maximum amount that they can earn tax-free is $12,200. They have to work or provide services for the company. The money has to be transferred from the business account to an account with the child's name on it. So those are the basic general guidelines. So I know there's people that are going to ask, well, what if I've elected to be taxed as an S-corp? Or what if my company is set up as a corporation, or I'm a partnership and both the people of the multi-member LLC are not parents to the children being paid? Here is what you do. There is a type of company called a family management company that you can set up with the IRS. And you set that up as a sole proprietor. And when you're, very important, when you're filling out the paperwork or the online application with the IRS to form this family management sole proprietorship, you want to say that you are going to be paying wages and your expected payroll tax liability is going to be less than $1,000 for the year, because that way you don't have to file quarterly payroll returns. You only have to file an annual return. That's going to be very important. And if you have another LLC that is not registered as an S-corp, you can pay your children out of that, and we would follow the same process to set up the employer account. And if you don't want to go through any of those steps, then the only option of paying your children would be to pay their Social Security and Medicare taxes. And sometimes that's not always a bad idea, but if they're really young and you want to take full advantage of this tax planning strategy, it is best to not pay the taxes, or do the small things that you need to do so that you can pay your children tax-free. I am just going to take a look here and see if we have any questions on the live. Let's see. I have one question, and that is just confirming that it is $12,200 limit for paying your children tax-free. The way that we arrive at that limit is because that is the most that you can earn without having to file a separate tax return. So yes, it is a $12,200 limit. All right, let's see, I'm just gonna take a look here, and I don't see any further questions. So feel free to, if you're catching this on the replay, definitely ask the questions in the replay, and until next time, thank you.